Oh my gosh, she's back with another video, and it's stilettos. Doing stilettos when the tip of the stiletto is super pointy is a trick to it. So when you put on already pre-made stiletto tips and you don't want them to be this long, if your client's like, oh, I want medium stiletto tips, cutting them down is really important. We all know that the pinky is going to always be the shortest, so I cut just a tad off and I visualize down the middle, of the nail, which would be here, and lining up this to about halfway and cutting to my line, same thing, and cutting to my line. And even when I'm not sure, I'll cut okay. Okay, we'll move right along. We'll just do it on the next finger. I'm going to cut above where I want the tip to be, just so I have a little bit of extra room to work with. I'm going to cut off just a tad and then go in and make that point. Like so. Looking at them all like this, I'm going to cut the point here, work my way down to the side wall, starting from that middle point, work my way down to that side wall. This is the middle of the nail. That's where I want the point to be. From the side wall, so from this area, I'm just looking and I'm going upward to where my line is. Same thing from this side wall, about here, about there. So then when I take my scissors, I'm taking the whole length of the scissor and I'm cutting from this point to my center line, from this point to my center line. See how I cut all the way down there? Same thing with this side. Just like that. Let's go back around for this pinky since she wanted to act out. Like this. And like that. And then for the thumb, same thing. Just like that. That one's a little crooked, but that is how I would cut down these nails. If you wanted to, you could go in with the hand file, sharpen them up just a tad. Because I have a hard time getting my cuticle with such a big acrylic brush, I always go back to using my smaller brush just for my cuticle. Okay, so apex is basically how I want it. It's a little short, but I'm going to put just a tad. So when you're going in to create the very pointy tip, if you want a subtle rounded out tip, this is not how you do this at all. If you want that pointy, sharp knife looking look, what you're going to do is before your acrylic completely cures in this area, you're going to take your fingers and point it and let it set just like that. And you're going to take a small bead. You're going to let it cure a bit on the brush. You're going to place it right at the tip. Make sure it's all on top of each other and blend it out. Note, you're going to dry off your brush because you want this product to be worked down to the tip. Let it set for a few seconds. Dry off that brush once again. You could take your fingers it's still a little too wet, so we're going to wait a few more seconds. And bring it to a point. So your filing work is just as important as what it took you to lay on the acrylic. Working underneath just as normal. And because I put that blue Sharpie, that's why the underneath of my nails are blue. Is blue, are blue, whatever. Okay, so we're going to work at the apex first. So with stiletto, it's this kind of motion. Working on the top. Same thing with this side. Once I get down closer and closer to my tip, I'm going to take it this way, very up and down, not at an angle at all, because with stiletto, you can easily turn this into a lopsided leaning tower of Pisa. So we're just going to sharpen it and get it crispy. When I'm working at the apex, you see how this is a file all up on the nail? As opposed to when I'm working like this, I'm keeping that gap. That way I don't overfile my tip.